Hey yo, what's going on? Bowman 1951 back at you to my roots with a Bowman 1951 set build. Let's put some stats up on the screen as to where I stand before we add these 4 cards to the set. Alright, so we're going to get first into this package here. Because we got the Teddy ball game out there on your right, I am featuring not 1 but 2 Red Sox editions to this set. But we're going to first start off with this Art Houtman in an old flip, card number 45 in a PSA 6. You're going to see the 6 is a fairly standard issue in this mail day here. I think that's where I'm going to settle in on most of these cards that I can afford in the commons. So, we're looking for good centering, which this does have at least left to right. It is a bit off center there, top to bottom. Here are some stats on Art. You can see he entered the Army. Thank you for your service, Mr. Houtman. And he actually suffered a serious accident and ended up with a fractured skull. Turned it around and says he had a good season after that. So what a trooper there. This is Art Houtman, card number 45 in the 51 Bowman set. All right, that was a Tiger. I believe this is going to be a White Sox. So card number 123 is going to be Howie Judson. And again, PSA 6 in the old flip. Looking really good on the centering there, top to bottom, just a hair off. Got a little wax stain there in the upper left, looking here. And he was a relief pitcher, had a 16-8 record. Attended the University of Illinois. Whoops, sorry about that. He was a relief pitcher and had a 2-3 record. I was reading on further on down there at the AAA level when he was 16-8. Let's take a look one more time. Howie Judson, PSA 6. And finally, let's get into those last 2 Red Sox cards. First up is going to be Bill White, card number 164. So that is going to be matching right next to Teddy there. He's card 165. In the new PSA flip, and Bill came to the Red Sox from the White Sox in a winter trade. 110, and it's lost 16. Says at the bottom here, and it's probably an ode to Teddy Ballgame himself, that he had some Bowman bats at his back when he was on the mound. So let's take a look one more time, and as I mentioned, right as I was flipping it over, it is in a new PSA lighthouse holder. Love the centering here. Once again, in the 6. And I don't think I saw... Oh, there is a pretty nasty stain here at the top. I mentioned in many of my videos before, I really don't care about the wax or gum stains. And lastly, out of this bunch, one of the best baseball names I have ever seen, Mr. Matt Bats. Again, in the PSA newest holder there in a 6. Centering there, left to right could be a tad bit better. Top to bottom looks good. Coloring looks good. Artwork is nice. We have another military veteran on our hands. And what I found fascinating about Matt's background is that he played in Lynn. This is where my wife grew up. And I personally grew up outside of Scranton. So he played in both of those areas, heading up to the major leagues. And I don't know, it's just a funny little tidbit in terms of my life and how it's impacted, my wife and I and where we're from. So he grew up in San Antonio, Texas. He'll be approaching 100 years old in a couple years if he was still with us. But again, this is Matt Bats, Boston Red Sox. Not going to follow the same numbering, so he's not like 163 here. With Teddy and the last gentleman that I showed you. That's going to about do it. Bringing you some vintage cards again, going back to my roots. I know some people out there still love these, and I do too. I got these all on a 10% eBay Bucks promotion, so I saved a little money there. And we are moving along with that set build. If you like what you see in terms of vintage cards, I will be featuring them as much as I can. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you at the next video. Bowman 1951 out!